The most talked about story in Formula One this week has nothing to do with cars, lap times, or the Australian Grand Prix. It is the bombshell that Christian Horner just dropped on all of us, and it has the entire paddock, the media, and millions of fans absolutely riveted. After 7 months of total silence following his shock sacking from Red Bull, Christian Horner has finally spoken, and what he revealed on Netflix's Drive to Survive Season 8 is more dramatic, more emotional, and more revealing than anyone could have predicted. Let's set the scene. It is July 2025. Max Verstappen has just qualified on pole position for the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. 24 hours later, Christian Horner, the man who built Red Bull Racing from the ground up, who oversaw 124 Grand Prix wins, 8 Drivers' Championships, and 6 Constructors' titles across 20 extraordinary years, was called to a meeting in London. And in that meeting, his entire world collapsed. He was told, without warning, that he was no longer operationally involved in the running of the Red Bull Formula One team. Just like that, no real explanation, no proper goodbye. After 2 decades of giving everything he had to that team, it was over in a room in London, 48 hours after qualifying day at Silverstone. Horner had been completely silent since that moment until now. Speaking on the Netflix cameras for Drive to Survive Season 8, which drops this Friday on February 27th, he described the moment with raw, unfiltered emotion. "I feel a real sense of loss and hurt. It was all rather sudden. I didn't really get a chance to say a proper goodbye," he said. And then came the line that has genuinely stopped people in their tracks this week. "I never imagined to be in this position." Of course, your immediate reaction when you're delivered a Saint sandwich like that is to say, "FK them. I've had something taken away from me that wasn't my choice, that was very precious to me. I only ever gave my best." The vulnerability in those words from one of the most powerful and combative figures Formula One has ever produced is striking. This is not the Christian Horner who spent a decade trading verbal blows with Toto Wolff in front of cameras. This is a man who felt genuinely betrayed. And betrayal is the word he keeps coming back to. Because the most explosive revelation Horner made on Drive to Survive is not how he felt, it is who he blames. For months, the paddock had whispered the same theory, that the Verstappen camp, led by Max's outspoken father Jos, had finally got what they wanted. Jos Verstappen had been one of the most vocal critics of Horner, publicly calling for his removal during the sexual misconduct allegations of the previous year, allegations from which Horner was cleared by 2 separate independent investigations. The theory seemed neat. The timeline seemed to fit. But Horner, sitting in front of the Netflix cameras, dismissed it entirely. "His father has never been my biggest fan. He's been outspoken about me, but I don't believe the Verstappens were responsible in any way," he said clearly. He then pointed the finger somewhere else entirely at Red Bull GmbH Managing Director Oliver Mintzlaff and at his once loyal colleague Helmut Marko. "I think this was a decision made by Oliver Mintzlaff, with Helmut Marko advising from the sidelines," Horner said. And then he offered the context that makes it all make sense. Ultimately, things changed within the business, within the group. The founder died. After Dietrich Mateschitz's death, I think probably I was deemed to have maybe too much control. That is a deeply significant statement. Horner is essentially saying that the internal power structure of Red Bull shifted fundamentally after founder Dietrich Mateschitz passed away in October 2022. And that the new guard, led by Mintzlaff, eventually decided that a team principal with Horner's level of autonomy and influence no longer fitted what they wanted the organization to be. But if his words about the departure were emotional, it was the private text exchange he revealed that has genuinely captured the imagination of fans this week because it came from the last person anyone expected. Toto Wolff. The man who had spent a decade as Horner's most bitter rival, who had clashed with him publicly in meetings, in press conferences, in the pages of every motorsport publication on the planet, sent Christian Horner a message after his sacking. And it was extraordinary. Horner read it aloud on camera. Wolff wrote, "I didn't know what to say, because on one side you've been a hole, but on the other hand, the sport will miss one of its main protagonists. Who should I fight? And love to hate, as you always said. Wolff and Horner have a combined 14 of the last 15 World Championships. Not a bad joint statistic. That message, sitting somewhere between a roast and a tribute, is peak Toto Wolff, sharp, self-aware, and landing harder because it's sincere. Horner's reply was equally perfect. I've loved locking horns with you all these years, so thank you for the rivalry, the competition, and the needle. No one else even came close, as the statistics point out. I wish you the very best for the future. And then, because he simply could not help himself, he added a postscript. P.S. You need a haircut. Even in defeat, Horner got the last word. Wolff, for his part, admitted publicly after Horner's departure that he felt lonely on the grid without his longtime adversary, a confession that, coming from Toto Wolff, is almost as extraordinary as the text message itself. The rivalry between these two men shaped Formula One for over a decade. Their battles were not just competitive, they were theatrical, staged across press conferences, team radio, stewards' offices, and yes, Netflix cameras. The 2021 Abu Dhabi title decider, the porpoising Rose of 2022, the budget cap saga, the season launch where Horner was booed by a British crowd at the O2 Arena, and Wolff was reportedly caught on camera enjoying every single second of it. All of that is captured in Drive to Survive Season 8, and all of it is landing this week with the weight of a rivalry that is now, at least for now, frozen in time. What happens next is the question that the paddock cannot stop asking. Horner made clear in an earlier interview at the European Motor Show that he has unfinished business in Formula One and confirmed, until the spring I can't do anything anyway, a reference to the gardening leave that is keeping him away from any team until those restrictions lift. He has been linked with Alpine, where a consortium he is reportedly involved with has been in discussions over a significant ownership stake. He has also been rumored with Ferrari and Aston Martin at various points, though nothing has been confirmed. What is confirmed is his desire to return, and the fact that his gardening leave period appears to be ending just as the new season begins. The timing is not an accident. Formula One has always understood that its drama off the track sells the drama on it. And this season, they have given Netflix arguably the most compelling opening episode they have ever had, a 20-year dynasty brought crashing down in a London meeting room, told by the man who built it from scratch and still can't quite believe it happened. What do you think? Do you believe Horner's version of events? Or is there more to the story of his Red Bull exit? Should he return to Formula One? And if so, which team would you want to see him at? And are you watching Drive to Survive Season 8 this Friday? Drop your predictions in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe for more F1 news. I'll catch you in the next one.